Well, I think one of the biggest things is that six of the players that still have eligibility left, the only six that we spoke to, all said they are going to be playing in the Cotton Bowl, which is significant. Only one of those players, Cody Simon, said that they'd made a decision about 2024, and Cody Simon will return to Ohio State. So there's one. The other five said that they still had not come to decisions, and that could be forthcoming. And we could get into some of the finer points there, but I think one of the biggest things I took away from it was when we spoke to Devin Brown about the Kyle McCord situation and how there wasn't some sort of big declaration inside the program before it came out. Some players said they learned via social media. Devin is excited about the opportunity. He's talking about the start at the Cotton Bowl as his already, though nothing has been named. But I think you do want to see a quarterback go out there and feel that that is his job. It's his start. So he was saying certainly a lot of the right things at that point. The question was brought up if Ohio State brings in a transfer quarterback, and he said, "Well, I'm not concerned about that. I came to Ohio State to compete against the best and be able to do my best. So whether or not Ohio State pursues a Cam Ward or somebody like that down the line, doesn't seem to be something that would deter Devin Brown. And I know that certainly had been a concern amongst people. And words are words, so you can take them for what it's worth. But he seems to be somebody who is fully committed and all in and excited for the opportunity and knows that Lincoln Keenholz will push him.
Yeah, I think the first takeaway for me was you had these six juniors say that they're going to play in the game. So then does that mean the juniors that we didn't talk to aren't going to play in the game? That was my thought. We didn't talk to Travion Henderson or JT Tuimoloau or Marvin Harrison, but we didn't talk to quite a few players who have a decision to make. So I don't know that I'm going to read too much into that. Saw somebody asking about Travion Henderson, and still he's not said anything yet about his future. And really, all of these guys, talking to them yesterday, talking about how they're 50-50 or whatever. And and Jordan Hancock talked about wanting to leave a legacy, and the 2021 class, their legacy at this point has been 3 losses to Michigan and no Big Tens. So that's something that they're all going to have to collectively live with if they choose to move on, which is something that Marvin Harrison said last week. If I'd like to come back and beat Michigan and win the Big Ten, and I know if I leave, I'm going to have to live with that forever. And it seemed like to me, you could see a snowball effect with those guys coming back if they do decide to do that. And Tyleik Williams said part of his decision would be who else is coming back on the defensive line. So if you see like a JT Tuimoloau come back, maybe that leads to Tyleik Williams coming back. Things like that could just snowball. And if your defensive line is coming back, maybe Denzel Burke is like, what, I want to come back too. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And it was good to talk to Devin Brown. I was happy that they gave him to us to talk to, because he is now the guy. And so we should be talking to the guy at this point in time. So that was good. Overall, I think players talking about how they want to send the season out on the right note, and that's why they're opting in. And this is an opportunity to end the season with a win. They didn't get to do that last year and lost 2 straight last year, so they don't want to do that again. And so from what the players are saying, the game seems to mean quite a bit to them. And then lastly, on Devin Brown saying that he's not going anywhere or anything like that. And when he was asked directly, would you transfer, whatever, he just, shook his head. No. It's not hard to go back to Tate Martell at the Rose Bowl saying, the same thing. I'm not going anywhere. Players can talk all they want, but the actions will speak louder. And Devin Brown said all the right things, and we'll see what transpires here in the next month.
Denzel Burke, on CBS is at least one mock draft listed late first round. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting that he's going to play. Mecca Buka in one of the drafts is listed as high as number 16 or 17. Although as I was doing my story on his interview, he only caught 32 passes this year, which is pretty amazing when you think about how such a high volume guy he was. He only got to play in 8 of the 12 games. And when he came back, he was really a non-factor for the first game or two. So he was really only in the flow for about 6 of the games this year. And, didn't have the kind of impact season. Only 3 touchdown catches for Emeka Egbuka this season. And he was closer to 10, I think, last year. So I don't have his exact numbers in front of me. But, to me, I think he's an example of a guy that would benefit by coming back, kind of like Chris Olave did, and push his way into a little higher in the first round for certain. I mean, for one guy in one mock draft to have him listed middle of the first round means he could go anywhere in the first 3 rounds. So, I don't think that really is the end-all, be-all of where his draft stock status is at this point. And we can debate all these other guys till the cows come home. Jack Sawyer had 2.5 sacks this year, 6 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, was voted 3rd team all Big Ten by the coaches. So the coaches know his what he means, obviously. But I think he's an example, maybe like Zach Harrison, of a guy that can benefit by coming back and improving his draft stock as well. So, or attempting to improve his draft stock as well. But they asked Jack Sawyer, Tim May. I mean, there's a lot of sentiment out there that this game is meaningless. It's not part of the college football playoff. And Sawyer said, "Pardon my French, but I think that's a bunch of BS," is what he said, the exact term. And, bully for him to be frank about, what means something to you may mean something different to me, means something different to somebody else. So, for him and the guys that are going to play to embrace this opportunity, that's refreshing and great to see in this, time of NIL and transfer portal and all that other hoo-ha. I think that it's wonderful that these guys are going to wear the scarlet and gray at least one more time. As they said, the jury's still out on the quote-unquote big 3 with Tui Maloau, Henderson, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr., if he goes top 3, he's holding a $40 million lottery ticket. So, do you, and considering what happened to him in the bowl game last year with the Georgia guy trying to take his head off, and knocking him out of the game, do you put yourself out there for something like that to happen a second time? I don't know.